We now know more about the Milwaukee officer killed in the line of duty this week, his family, and the support coming in from other police departments.
The man who shot his wife, then blew up their house to cover it up. We'll find out if he'll serve a life sentence or get a chance at parole.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It is Friday, July 27th. It is a pool day for thousands of kids at that All-City Swim Meet. Maybe our polar bear friend?
I think so. Polar bear has already been swimming this morning. I emailed the zoo yesterday. I wanted to know the name of the polar bear.
I know, we couldn't think of it.
Yeah, her name is Barrett. So now we can call her by her first name.
Look at her.
She's having fun. The zoo said they're very jealous that she just gets to swim all day.
Oh.
And she's got a good start on that this morning, maybe in honor of All-City. Here's a look at our current temperatures. 58 here in Madison, 58 in Monroe, 55 in Platteville. Maybe a little cool for me being in the pool this morning, but the polar bear doesn't seem to mind. A nice warm-up is expected today. It's going to be an absolutely gorgeous day with a high of 75 degrees. We'll have partly sunny skies and lighter northwest winds than we had yesterday. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. Have been watching an accident that has closed part of Highway 11. This is east of Monroe. The highway is closed from Bagley Road to County Highway S. There is a detour around that accident this morning. Otherwise, here in Madison, things still looking good on the Beltline and in the downtown areas. If you're heading into Madison from the surrounding communities, no major delays on any of those big roads heading into Madison.
What a great way to start your day. Little polar bear swim.
And it's Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it all just keeps getting better.
And
Perfect.
It's 75 today, low humidity.
Oh,
There's Barrett
she's
again.
back.
We
Nothing
can't get
makes me
enough.
happier. I just love it. All right, thanks Barrett, thanks Happy.
You're welcome.
We start the news this hour with a pretty significant murder case that will be back in Dane County Court today as a judge will decide whether Stephen Pyrus should spend his entire life in prison.
Pyrus pleaded guilty to first-degree homicide after killing his wife and blowing up his house to cover up the crime. Our Christina Laurie is live where that house once stood on Stratton Way with more on what the judge will consider today. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Leah and Danica. Now, Stephen Pyrus will spend at least 20 years of his mandatory life sentence behind bars. This afternoon, though, a judge will determine if he could be eligible for parole after that. If Stephen Pyrus is eligible for parole after 20 years, he would be in his 80s. This past April, Pyrus pleaded guilty to killing his wife sometime last July or August. He also confessed to loosening a gas line to a dryer in his house, which triggered a massive explosion that leveled their home on Madison's southeast side. His wife Leanne's body was found 2 days after that explosion in the rubble. A medical examiner determined the explosion didn't kill Leanne, rather a gunshot wound did. There is still some contention as to when and why Pyrus killed his wife. Although he eventually admitted to shooting her, he's given multiple explanations for her death. First claiming she killed herself, later changing the story to say she begged him to shoot her. Now, Pyrus's hearing is scheduled for 1:30 this afternoon at the Dane County Courthouse. There, Pyrus will have the opportunity to plead his case in front of the judge before a judge makes that ultimate decision.
All right, we'll have an update to that case over on our website, channel3000.com. Our Christina Laurie reporting live for us this morning. Thanks, Christina.
6:03 right now, and flags across the state are at half-staff today to honor a Milwaukee police officer who was killed in the line of duty earlier this week. We now know that officer is Officer Michael Michalski, who was fatally shot on the city's north side. Milwaukee's police chief says Milchowski was a 17-year veteran with the force and leaves behind a wife and 3 children. A squad car draped in black cloth sits outside the Milwaukee Police Administration building this morning as condolences continue to pour into the department. Officers from other agencies, including several from our area, are reaching out to the Milwaukee PD on social media by sharing photos of their badges circled with a black band. We're still waiting to hear what charges, if any, this 30-year-old suspect in this shooting will face.
The Marine who stabbed another Marine from Janesville on a California base last winter will spend the next 7 years in military prison. 18-year-old Ethan Barclay Weber-Powell grew up in Janesville and got into the military after graduating from Parker High School there. In January, Private First Class Raymond Begay stabbed him at Camp Pendleton. The Orange County Register reports Begay was convicted of involuntary manslaughter this week. He'll spend the next 7 years in confinement on a military brig. Back in Wisconsin, Madison police are looking for 2 men this morning after they robbed a hotel on the east side. Officers say it happened just before 11 last night at the Super 8 on Hayes Road. That's right next to the Easttown Mall. Police say the robbers held 2 people down, showed a knife and a handgun, and got off with some of their stuff. No one was hurt in that case.
A Janesville woman is facing child neglect charges after allegedly leaving 2 kids unattended while drinking at a bar. Police told the Janesville Gazette that a bartender saw a 10-year-old kid running around alone without a shirt or shoes on in the parking lot of East Point Sports Pub just before 2 a.m. on Tuesday. That bartender walked the child home and found a 2-year-old girl sleeping with no adults at home. The 10-year-old told the bartender he was out looking for his mom, who had left to get cigarettes but didn't come home for at least half an hour. Police found 46-year-old Bernita De Leon at a bar with a blood alcohol content of 0.3. She now faces 2 counts of neglecting a child.
The Evansville School District will be holding all of its summer school classes in one building today after a threat earlier this week. The Janesville Gazette reports that original threat came in on Wednesday. Police and school officials weren't worried at first, but that changed yesterday morning. They haven't been clear on the nature of that threat, except that it came from outside the city in a verbal comment, not a written one. Parents and staff have been informed, and district officials say they know the person involved. Today is the last day for the district's summer school program.
There's an interesting loan program being considered in Baraboo this morning to get more millennials to move there. This idea is still in its early stages, but it would offer downtown businesses and homeowners small loans to turn some empty space in their buildings, like attics or second-story space above the businesses there, garages. It would offer them money to turn those into apartments. A recent report showed that the area is losing 15 to 20% of its population due to aging. The community members that support the effort see it as a way to invest in a town that they're very proud of.
There is a new study out that says Wisconsinites might be ready to make that move. AAA reports that 1 in 5 state residents are planning to move somewhere within the next year. That equals out to about 20%. A new survey says people looking to relocate plan to make their move this summer or next spring. If you're thinking about a move, AAA suggests doing it during the week or even during the winter when moving services have better rates. Some moving expenses are tax deductible too, so make sure to keep your receipts related to that move.
I tell you what, I've moved in the winter. It is not fun, so you will pay for it in labor what you don't in money.
I have moved. God love my parents 10 times in the last decade. They are saints helping me out with that. So, but I haven't done it in winter. That would be a new one for me. All right, 6:07 your time now. You might have thought it was mission impossible to make another Mission Impossible, but Tom Cruise just will not quit. Reviews so far pretty strong for the 6th installment of Ethan Hunt and his antics. Will's getting his extra hot nachos ready. He's going to have his preview after the break.
Thunderstorms may be coming back this weekend, but we're not even remotely thinking about that with the forecast we have today. Hattie has your full forecast with another day of seasonably cool temperatures. Really comfortable, really sunny when News 3 This Morning continues.
Good morning from the Hattie-O Patio on this Friday morning. It's a little bit cooler outside, but we have a beautiful forecast coming up. Take a look at high temperatures yesterday across the region. Most spots topping in the 70s. That 84 in Janesville seems a little like a wrong reading there, but otherwise 75 here in Madison and Monroe, 76 in Platteville, and 72 in the Dells. So maybe a little bit cooler than you would expect for the end of July, but very pleasant. Now, as we look at the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, that takes us through the first third of the month of August. Still going to stay pretty warm in the southwestern corner of the United States as well as New England. Here in the midsection of the country, though, no real indication one way or the other, so near normal conditions expected. There could be higher than normal precipitation, though, from the Great Lakes all the way to the East Coast. Here's a look at our view this morning from the WISC-TV Skycam. Sun is up this morning. Skies are mostly clear here on the west side of town. I mentioned it was a little cooler by about 5 to 10 degrees. Our actual air temperature is 58 here in Madison. It's 55 in Mineral Point, 56 in Lone Rock, and in Janesville this morning, it's 57 degrees. Dew points, though, remain in the 50s, so humidity will stay low today. Satellite and radar trends showing you a very quiet picture setting up across the Great Lakes region today. You'll notice a few clouds developing this afternoon, just like yesterday. Winds, though, will stay a little lighter. Those still will be from the northwest, but only around 5 to 10 miles per hour through the afternoon, so not as strong as they were yesterday. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. It is painting a little too much cloud cover in the area this morning. We're definitely seeing more sunshine. Skies are likely to turn partly sunny, though, as we go towards the afternoon. Temperatures getting back into the low 70s by lunchtime, climbing to highs right around where they were yesterday in the mid-70s. Now, there will be just a slight chance for some rain, but that looks like it's mainly to the east of our area. Here's a look at your evening forecast then. Very comfortable, dropping into the low 60s by 10 p.m., then bottoming out in the 50s tomorrow morning. Our extended forecast includes just a slight chance for rain on Saturday, mainly late in the day. Otherwise, on Sunday, still that chance for rain and unsettled weather into next week with chances for rain right through Thursday. The good news, though, temperatures will stay very comfortable with highs in the upper 70s and low 80s. Now let's get a look at First Alert traffic this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Starting off with a crash near Monroe, closing Highway 11 in both directions at County Highway KS. Greene County Sheriff says it may be a while before Highway 11 is opened back up in that area. You will need to take another route for the time being. Here in Madison, the Beltline is moving well so far. No delays showing up yet in either direction. Other routes here in Dane County not looking too bad. Just a few brake lights on Stoughton Road approaching the Beltline ramps. Other roadways heading into the city are cruising along at the posted speeds right now with no major crashes or issues. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to see the newest Mission Impossible movie out this weekend.
Tom Cruise is back in the 6th installment of that franchise and here with us this morning. Kind of not looking forward to 2.5 hours of theater, but like, you know, looking forward to it as well. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, how long can an action movie be? But okay, that's fine. He's held his breath for 8 minutes, hung off airplanes, hopped around the tallest building in the world, and broke his leg jumping off a building for these Mission Impossible movies. But at 56 years young, Tom Cruise isn't showing any signs of stopping. Take a look.
There cannot be peace without first a great suffering. The greater the suffering, the greater the peace. The end you've always feared is coming.
Tom Cruise is back as Ethan Hunt, facing his biggest threat yet.
Solomon Lane escaped in Paris.
Now the world is at risk. Which way, Betty? Turn left! Go, 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 go! What are you waiting for? I'm jumping out a window! Oh, sorry. Good luck.
Mission Impossible Fallout is rated PG-13.
What's done is done when we say it's done. Showtime.
Oh, my God. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
A lot going on there.
Yeah, and Tom Cruise performing all his own stunts too.
Really?
One of these days he's gonna go out filming one of these movies. I think that's his dream because, I mean, yeah, how lucky can you keep getting? I mean, he's hanging off the side of a plane. Any small particle could you know.
Right.
Jumping out of a window.
And then he broke his leg on this last one, so it's, yeah.
So if you thought that like the first 5 were good and there's no way a 6 could be, this is getting some pretty solid reviews.
Last I checked, 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, so this is like the highest rated of the series. Some are saying it's the best of the series. Number 6, six times the charm.
That's what I was going to say.
Totally lying.
That's what they all say, right?
Yeah, that's what my grandma always told me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You'll be here on Monday with a review?
I will indeed, yes.
Awesome.
Good to see you.
Good
Thanks,
to see you
Will.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. 6:16 right now, and a program using art to support people of all abilities is packing up what it's able to salvage this morning ahead of its move to a new location. We'll tell you about the donation that may have saved that nonprofit.
That story, pretty great one. But we still think Hattie has the best news of the morning. Look at that hazy sunrise this morning in Platteville. 70s again today before some rain chances move in. Hattie's back with an update on your forecast when News 3 This Morning continues.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. Just watching Barrett the polar bear enjoy time in the pool early this morning. A little cool outside, but she doesn't seem to mind. She seems pretty darn happy early today doing her laps. Here's a look at our current temperatures. 58 degrees here in Madison, 57 in Janesville, 54 in the Dells. So it is a cooler start to the day. Nice warm up though is expected today. Take a look at future track temperatures. Already by mid-morning, back into the mid-60s. By lunchtime today, it should feel like 70 degrees outside. And this afternoon, we'll climb into the mid-70s. Partly sunny skies and really very limited chances for rain today. Most areas will stay dry. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Hattie. Barrett the polar bear, not the only one enjoying the water today. More than 2,000 swimmers are jumping into day 2 of the All-City Swim Meet. Monona is hosting the 3-day event this year. It's one of the biggest amateur swim meets in the country, and organizers say they're seeing record levels of swimmer registrations this year. But it's not all about the competition. Organizers say just as important is the idea of creating community.
When we first started planning it, we talked about making it magical for the kids. And we also said we wanted to make it magical for our community, and that meant Monona. That people could see that we have a great community, that we have the great surrounding environment for it, and that we have the support to really put on an awesome event.
6 swimmers have already broken all-city meet records for a meter pool, and 8 others broke pool records in Monona. The competition will go through Saturday, and finals start at 8 a.m. We'll have the updates over on channel3000.com.
A student-led school supply drive here in Madison is celebrating its 10th year this weekend. The wagon drive started with a couple of young kids asking their neighbors to donate supplies for classmates who needed them, and now this is a city-wide collection effort. The high school seniors now running the wagon drive. They've been running this since they were little. They want to provide 300 students with backpacks full of stuff this year, so you can drop off supplies as well as toiletries and non-perishable food items over at Franklin Elementary School tomorrow. This goes from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m.
We have some good news this morning about the local nonprofit we told you about yesterday that was forced out of their building after flooding there. Earlier this week, a pipe burst in the building that houses Artworking. That's a West Side organization that uses art education to empower people with disabilities. The building had 2 inches of water in it, and the group had to leave without knowing where it would go next. But just yesterday, the organization received a big donation from a Verona company that shares their passion for empowering the disabled.
Having been part of Artworking and now working at a Taman company, it's just wonderful to be a part of an organization that really cares about people with developmental disabilities and the mission and vision of Artworking.
The $10,000 donation will be used to help Artworking relocate and keep their services going during that transition.
If you are lucky, you could see Packers polka tonight as the man known as the Gravedigger will be in downtown Madison. Essen House is hosting Gilbert Brown and some of his 1990s Packers buddies for a charity event tonight. The former defensive tackle and Super Bowl champ has a foundation now that raises money for a number of different kids' charities across the state, helping young cancer patients, low-income kids who want to attend a football camp, and more. Now, there's a live auction and raffle starting at 7 o'clock tonight, which does include autographed Packers merchandise. That event is free to attend.
Neat.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, 6:23 your time now. An area grocery store is using the money it raised to try and make some Prairie buildings safer after the deadly explosion there.
We'll tell you more about that donation and an idea being pitched by priests, rabbis, and other religious leaders to put a place of worship in the Dane County Jail. The news is back in the morning on News 3 this morning.
A third of the Wisconsin voters who were undecided earlier this month on the Republican candidate for U.S. Senate might have a better idea this morning after last night's debate.
And a high-profile murder case in our area is back in court as a man who admitted to killing his wife and triggering an explosion asks a judge for a chance for parole.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome back to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. Now 6:27 on this Friday, July 27th. And Hattie has the best job of the day this morning, gets to be out and about in that sunshine.
Yeah, we all love her. You guys are going to love her, too. Let's check in with her. She's already outside enjoying that gorgeous Friday. Hey, Hattie.
Good morning, guys. It is a beautiful start to this Friday. A little cooler, so I grabbed the jacket this morning, but you're going to see a quick warm-up today and very comfortable conditions. I call this a San Diego kind of forecast. Our Queen Bee Radio Sky Cam in Platteville this morning showing you an orange sky early today. Sun is up. There's just a little bit of fog developing through the Wisconsin River Valley. Otherwise, fog is not developing anywhere else. Satellite and radar trends showing you a pretty quiet picture across the Badger State this morning. Temperatures are in the 50s in most locations. 58 here in Madison, 54 in Stevens Point, 58 in Green Bay this morning. Superior's a little chilly though, 49 degrees early today. Temperatures will climb into the mid-70s this afternoon. We'll have partly sunny skies and lighter northwest winds than what we had yesterday. So a gorgeous day. Here's a look at your first alert traffic update this morning. Still want to tell you about that accident that happened on Highway 11 east of Monroe. It has blocked the highway in both directions, so you have to route around on a detour. Again, Highway 11 is closed between Bagley and County Highway S. Here in Madison, things are still pretty quiet. Just a few brake lights showing up on the Beltline near Stoughton Road at this time, but no accidents to report in the Madison area, so you're still going at posted speeds heading into the city. And that's your first alert traffic.
Hattie, thank you so much. 6:29 right now, and we start this half hour with the upcoming primary election, which is about 3 weeks away here in Wisconsin. The Republican candidates for U.S. Senate are still fighting for a commanding lead in the polls.
Last night, businessman Kevin Nicholson and State Senator Leah Vukmir held an hour-long debate in Milwaukee. Both frontrunners spoke highly of the president and his policies, saying his latest decisions on trade and tariffs are not hurting Wisconsin farmers and businesses. President Trump has not endorsed anyone in that race. The latest Marquette Law School poll showed Vukmir had a slight lead over Nicholson. A third of voters said they're still undecided, though. The winner of the August 14th primary will face Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin in November's midterms.
The Democratic Party of Wisconsin was pretty critical of the responses from those candidates last night, saying Tammy Baldwin does right by Wisconsin, whether it's standing up to the president of her own party or working with the president. A spokesperson went on to say that Vukmir and Nicholson would be rubber stamps for President Trump's agenda.
Other big races you're going to see on that primary ballot: Republican and Democratic primaries in Paul Ryan's 1st Congressional District, along with Democratic primaries for governor and lieutenant governor, and Republican and Democratic primaries for state treasurer and secretary of state. Again, those primaries are on August 14th. And as that date approaches, there's a new poll that shows Governor Walker is trailing in a hypothetical matchup with state school superintendent Tony Evers. The NBC News poll has Evers leading with 54% compared to Governor Walker's 41%. Just 34% of registered voters in the state say Governor Walker should win re-election in the fall, while 61% say a new person should be given the chance to lead. 6:30 your time now. This is a case most people around Madison are going to remember. Stephen Pyrus pleaded guilty to killing his wife and trying to cover it up with a house explosion. Today he's going to learn if he'll ever have the chance of getting out of prison.
A judge already sentenced him to life, but he could be up for parole after decades behind bars. Christina Laurie is looking into that decision. She's live from the property where that home used to stand. Christina, good.
Good morning, Leah and Danica. Madison police say last September, Stephen Pyrus disconnected a gas line that was connected to his driver inside his house, which once stood on this now empty lot on Stratton Way. That triggered a massive house-leveling explosion. They say he was trying to hide the murder of his wife, Leanne. Pyrus pleaded guilty to that crime earlier this year and was given a mandatory life sentence. But today, a judge will decide if Pyrus will ever have the opportunity for parole. At a minimum, he'll serve 20 years in prison, meaning he'll be in his 80s if he's allowed to petition for parole. Again, Stephen Pyrus will appear in court at 1:30 this afternoon at the Dane County Courthouse. He will have the opportunity to plead his case in front of a judge before the judge ultimately makes a decision. Back to you.
We'll be following that case. We'll have an update over on our website. Our Christina Laurie reporting live for us this morning. Thanks, Christina.
6:32 right now. A Wisconsin oil refinery damaged by an explosion earlier this year is not expected to get up and running until 2020. Canada-based Husky Energy told investors yesterday that it will take at least 18 to 24 months to resume operations at its plant in Superior. At least 13 people were hurt in the explosion back in April. It caused $27 million worth of damage, which will be covered by insurance. Investigators are still looking into the cause of that explosion.
There is yet another scam trying to take advantage of the folks who want to help out some prairie relief efforts. The Cottage Grove Fire Department says someone is calling around using their identity on caller ID and asking for donations for some prairie. To be clear, this is not the Cottage Grove Department asking for donations. If you want to donate to relief efforts in Sun Prairie, you can do that at the Bank of Sun Prairie. Firefighters over in that city are using those donations from their community to be better prepared for the next gas leak. You'll remember we told you about a $15,000 donation from Pick and Save to the department this week. That money is going to be used to buy a new gas detection device that uses lasers to help determine if an area is safe from 100 feet away. The donation comes after the deadly gas explosion downtown earlier this month. Firefighters are going to take part in a demo of that tool in a couple of weeks. And more help on the way to the neighbors and businesses working to recover from that explosion. Last night, the local Dairy Queen served up 2,000 blizzards, with all the proceeds going to the victims. That right there is a group of Sun Prairie first responders who came out to support the cause.
An approved $76 million renovation of the outdated Dane County Jail is moving forward this morning, and that project could now provide inmates with a sacred space. There's currently no area specifically for ministry services in the jail. However, religious leaders in the area say a space like that would be open to all beliefs and could help inmates as they transition out of prison. The Madison area jail ministry would need to raise about $150,000 to create the space they're envisioning. Sheriff Dave Mahoney says a multi-purpose space, which could be reserved for religious meetings or other activities, is a more practical plan for the new jail. Construction on that facility is set to start next year. Later tonight, there's a conversation about the wellness of inmates, particularly those kept in solitary confinement. The Madison Public Library is inviting people to hear from some of the individuals who have spent time in solitary confinement and from activists looking to put an end to that practice. Inmates in solitary confinement spend at least 22 hours a day alone in a cell the size of a parking space. The event tonight starts at 6:30.
6:34 your time now. Goodbye, Bradley Center. Hello, the Forum. The Milwaukee Bucks' new home now has a new name. We're going to have the details coming up.
And I can't help but to think of Queen this morning, because a UW professor is about to get on his bike and ride hundreds of miles to bring solar power to Puerto Rican children. We will look ahead to his trip when News 3 This Morning continues. Welcome back. 6:38 right now on this Friday morning. We always ask you to share your morning with us. We've gotten to soak in the sun so far today, but Kenton Fowler just does it again. He takes some absolutely spectacular pictures. I'm not even sure what lake this is. I'm thinking I see the Capitol in the distance. So one of the ones around Madison, I'm going to guess. Again, total guess here. Doesn't really matter because it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous picture. Thank you, Kenton, for sharing.
He's always got the good ones.
Yeah.
What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on the Channel 3000 Facebook page, maybe on Twitter, and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning. We always share our favorites right here on News 3 This Morning.
6:39 almost your time, and there's new research from the state showing that the number of teenagers getting pregnant is dropping here in Wisconsin. State health officials say that the number of moms between 15 and 19 years old is down dramatically, and the rate of teen births in 2016 was 15 per 1,000 women in that age range. The rate was nearly 31 per 1,000 births 10 years ago. Births for Hispanic teen moms in Wisconsin are around 33 per 1,000 births. Now, the state did not include statistics involving really young mothers in this.
6:39 your time now. A UW-Madison professor is taking a bike ride to raise awareness about the struggle that's still happening to restore power to Puerto Rico after last year's hurricane.
Engineering professor Jim Tinjum is working with a group of students to install solar panels at a nonprofit shelter for kids who have been abused down in Puerto Rico. To help pay for those panels and raise awareness for the project, Tinjum will leave tomorrow for a 1,200-mile bike ride. He's going to visit 50 different solar energy sites across 4 states. At the beginning of the summer, there were still 11,000 customers without power in Puerto Rico. That was 8 months after Hurricane Maria hit. If you'd like to donate to this project, you can visit solarparaninos.com. All right, there may be no better forecast for a bike ride today. Really, anything outdoors will work. Hattie is calling for another cooler but super comfortable day weather-wise. Sunshine in there as well. Temperatures will creep up again in her first alert forecast, along with chances for rain. That's up next.
But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, let us know so we can show their picture on TV. News 3 This Morning will be right back. You're taking a live look outside right now at the WISC Skycam. A little peek of what we're going to see for the rest of the day. Sunshine, warm temperatures. Just a gorgeous way to round out your week. 6:43 your time now. An appliance store in our area is refreshing its look, its products, and even its employee training program to fight to stay open, while other locations close this summer. Sears at the Westtown Mall will close its doors at the end of September, facing too much competition from other big box stores. But the Reedsburg location is staying open with some help from a fresh new look. It's part of a rebranding of the store as America's appliance experts. They're holding a grand reopening this weekend where shoppers can experience the new store design that's featuring kitchen and laundry showrooms. There will also be a 10% discount throughout the store for that grand reopening.
6:44 right now, and the grand opening for the Bucks' new arena is a little less than a month away, and now we know it will include some orange lettering on the outside and probably on the inside as well. The new name for that facility, the Forum, is already being shown on the court there. The franchise announced its 25-year agreement with FistServe. That's a Brookfield-based Fortune 500 technology company. The $524 million facility will hold hundreds of events every year once it is open, and you can see there August 26th is the opening date. That includes concerts and, of course, the Bucks season.
Not a bad day to get outside and shoot some hoops maybe today, Hattie.
I was going to say, take the basketball outside today. We have perfect weather conditions for it. Also, All-City Swim happening today, and here's a look at the forecast for the day. Unlike yesterday, winds will be much lighter from the northwest. Pretty nice temperatures, a little cool to start, but climbing back into the mid-70s during the afternoon. Low humidity and less of a chance for those pop-up showers during the afternoon. So a great forecast for All City. Good luck to all the kids swimming today. Satellite and radar trends early this morning showing you very quiet conditions around the area. If we zoom the map out to the U.S. perspective, you'll see just how quiet things are through the Great Lakes region. There's a front moving towards the east that will keep rain chances in the forecast for parts of the east coast of the country. Otherwise, where they need rain in the west, the forecast is looking dry as well. No airport delays, though, at any of the major airports across the country at this hour, so that is great news if you're traveling today. Here's your travel forecast. Sunshine in LA, 77 degrees. That climbs to triple-digit heat in Phoenix with partly sunny skies. Rain chances mainly east of the Mississippi River Valley. Still warm, though, in the southeast, 90 in Washington, D.C. today. Otherwise, very comfortable through the Great Lakes region. Our forecast is pretty darn nice. A live look from the Edgewater Skycam this morning out over downtown Madison and Lake Mendota. I imagine the lake will be very busy later today. 58 degrees here in Madison, 56 in Lone Rock, 55 in Mineral Point. So a cooler start to the day. Winds are still from the northwest, but rather light this morning, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's a look at your Pinpoint City forecast highs with partly sunny skies today. Enjoy a high of 72 in New Glarus. Middleton will climb to a high of 74. It'll be 74 as well in Beaver Dam. Over to the west, we're looking at high temperatures again in the mid-70s. Partly sunny skies in Prairie du Chien with a high of 74 degrees today. 73 in Platteville and 74 in Dodgeville. And to the north, temperatures still in the 70s. Mauston and Necedah top at 73 degrees. Prairie du Sac and Poynette will climb to a high of 74. Here in Madison, partly sunny skies today. High temperatures again in the mid-70s. Take a look at that extended forecast. Mainly dry today and through Saturday. Just a slight chance for some showers to pop up in the afternoon on Saturday. Highs, though, this weekend will be a little warmer in the upper 70s. Then as we head to next week, still many chances for rain, but no guarantees, no complete washouts. Temperatures will be very comfortable with highs near 80 degrees. Here's our Pet Walk forecast. This is Moose in Baraboo.
Yes.
Thank goodness it's not Friday the 13th.
Ooh.
That is one black cat.
That would be very spooky. Moose the cat.
I love the name.
I love that so much. Hattie, thank you.
You're welcome.
Stay with us. The Morning Sprint is up next.
It's
6:51, almost your time. Time now for the morning sprint. Hattie has an absolutely spectacular Friday with sunshine and temperatures in the mid-70s.
And Christina Laurie is live with whether the man who killed his wife and blew up their house will stand a chance of getting out of jail in his lifetime. But we start with a look ahead at the upcoming primary election, about 2 weeks away now. Last night, businessman Kevin Nicholson and State Senator Leah Vukmir held an hour-long debate in Milwaukee. The latest Marquette Law School poll showed Vukmir had a slight lead over Nicholson. A third of voters say they're still undecided in that race, though.
The winner of that August 14th primary will face Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin in November's midterms. There are also Republican and Democratic primaries for the 1st Congressional District on that day, after Speaker Paul Ryan announced he would not run again. There are also Democratic primaries for governor and lieutenant governor, and Republican Democratic primaries for state treasurer and secretary of state.
Happening today, a judge will decide whether convicted murderer Stephen Pyrus will spend the rest of his life behind bars or whether he'll have the option of parole. What we know is that Pyrus will spend at least 20 years of his lifetime prison sentence behind bars after he confessed to killing his wife. But as part of that plea agreement, Pyrus may be eligible for supervised release. If so, he still wouldn't be eligible until he's in his 80s at the earliest. This April, Pyrus pleaded guilty to killing his wife, also confessing to loosening a gas line to a dryer in his house, which caused an explosion that leveled the home on Madison's southeast side. Pyrus's sentencing hearing is scheduled for 1:30 this afternoon at the Dane County Courthouse.
Thanks, Christina. New this morning, a federal court says the Madison School District is not liable for the staff member accused of sexually assaulting a student. Court records show a student accused White House Middle School security assistant, Willie Collins, of sexually assaulting her back in 2013. Her parents filed a lawsuit saying he was grooming the girl and other students by openly giving them hugs, and that school staff didn't do anything to stop him. The court ruled those hugs weren't enough to make the employees think he was engaging in sexual misconduct or would in the future.
Flags across the state are at half-staff today in honor of a Milwaukee police officer killed in the line of duty earlier this week. Officer Michael Michalski was a 17-year veteran with the force. He was checking on a man for drug and weapons violations, possibly, when he was shot twice on the city's north side. Now, there's no word whether that suspect has been charged this morning. Michalski lives behind a wife and 3 children. He was 52 years old.
The Marine who stabbed a Wisconsin Marine on a base in California last winter will spend the next 7 years in military prison. In January, Private First Class Raymond Begay stabbed 18-year-old Ethan Barclay Weberpal from Janesville at Camp Pendleton. The Orange County Register reports Begay was convicted on Wednesday for involuntary manslaughter. He'll spend the next 7 years in confinement on a military brig.
And our forecast for today does call for partly sunny skies. Take a look at satellite and radar trends right now. Skies are actually clear across most of the Badger State this morning. Some clouds popping up this afternoon, but a nice warm up with those temperatures. We'll climb to a high of 75 degrees with light northwest winds through the day. Enjoy.
All right, thanks, Hattie. In business news today, Twitter stocks are dropping on Wall Street thanks to a drop in users, around 3.5 million. Pre-market stocks are down 16% this morning. This is just one day after Facebook saw the biggest one-day market loss in stock market history, losing around $190 billion in value. Facebook's privacy scandal was a big factor in that loss. Both companies will be in front of the Senate Intelligence Committee next month to talk about election security.
The Evansville School District will hold all summer school classes in the high school today after a threat earlier this week. The Janesville Gazette is reporting that the district learned about that threat Wednesday after the police department got a tip from another agency. There are few details about the threat this morning, just that it was verbal, not written, and that the district is familiar with the person involved. The superintendent says there is no safety concern, but there will be extra officers around the high school today for extra precaution.
To the north in Superior, an oil refinery damaged by an explosion and a fire back in April likely won't be back up and running until 2020. The explosion at Husky Energy caused $27 million in damage, and at least 13 people were hurt there. The investigation into the cause is still underway.
Sun Prairie firefighters are using donations from their community to be better prepared for another gas leak in the future. You'll remember that we told you about a $15,000 donation from the Pick and Save to that department. That money is going to be used to buy a new gas detection device that uses lasers to help determine if an area is safe from 100 feet away. This comes after the deadly gas explosion downtown earlier this month.
A $76 million renovation of the Dane County Jail is moving forward this morning, and it could now provide inmates with a non-denominational sacred space. Religious leaders in the area say that could help inmates with the transition out of prison. The Madison Area Jail Ministry would need to raise around $150,000 to create the space they're envisioning.
There is an interesting loan program being considered in Baraboo to get more millennials to move there. This idea is still in its early stages, but it would offer downtown businesses and homeowners small loans to turn empty space in their buildings into apartments. This comes as recent reports show the area is losing 15 to 20% of the population due to aging.
A student-led school supply drive is celebrating its 10th year tomorrow, and you can help out. This year, the Wagon Drive, that started as a door-to-door neighborhood collection, is holding a citywide collection event. That's tomorrow at the Franklin Elementary School from 9 a.m. until 2 in the afternoon. This year, students are hoping to provide 300 kids with supplies to start out their school year.
6:56 right now on this Friday morning. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim for the sunglasses worthy commute. Good morning, Josh.
Hi, good morning. Well, Highway 11 near the town of Judah in Greene County is still closed in both directions between County Highway S and Bagley Road. You will need to use an alternate route for the time being. The Beltline's still moving well, though, in both directions with no major issues heading east or westbound. Nothing to slow you down there. Inbound John Nolan beginning to tap the brakes at Rimrock and Olin Avenue leading into the downtown Madison area. And other roadways heading into the city are cruising along at the usual speeds with no crashes or delays. Your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thanks, Josh. Have a great weekend.
You too.
And it is a beautiful start to the weekend. Skies are clear here in Madison. Temperatures should warm pretty quickly today. We're starting in the 50s, but we'll climb to the 60s, back into the mid-70s this afternoon. For the weekend, still slight chances for rain on Saturday and again on Sunday, but a little warmer with highs in the upper 70s.
Perfect day to get outside and enjoy that weather. If you're out for that all-city swim meet, enjoy the gorgeous sun that we're going to be seeing. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.